Hello and welcome to Enchanted SoCal Explorers. We have been to Disneyland with kids of all ages, from babies to teenagers and even adults. I think we're all still kids when we go to Disneyland, right? Today, we're going to be giving you our top tips on managing a magical Disney day with little kids. Let's get into it. First of all, did you know that kids under 3 get into Disneyland and California Adventure for free? Seriously, they get in completely for free. They get to experience all that Disney magic for exactly $0. I do mean, of course, aside from all the snacks they're going to ask for. Is anybody else's kid on the seafood diet? As in, they see it, they want it, and they have to have it right this second? Just my kids? Okay. Both Disneyland and California Adventure have baby care centers located inside of their parks. Disneyland's is located at the end of Main Street next to the First Aid Center. California Adventure's Baby Care Center is located at San Francisco Square, right next to the Ghirardelli shop. So after you finish that diaper change, you can grab some ice cream. Perfect, right? These baby care centers are an amazing help to young families. I have personally used them so many times. You're going to find a nursing room with outlets in case you also need to pump, toddler sized toilets, changing rooms with really nice changing pads, and bottle warmers and a sink. They even have baby food and diapers available for sale, but be prepared, you are going to be paying Disney prices for those items, so it's best just to bring them from home. And there are, of course, changing stations in all Disneyland and California Adventure restrooms. So you definitely don't have to walk all the way to a baby care center every time your little one needs a diaper change. But it is good to know that these centers are available for you should you need them. Everyone gets grumpy when they're hungry, and that's especially true for our little ones. It can sometimes be hard to find a snack that'll help your kid ward off that hunger, especially if you have a picky eater or if you're suddenly in a line that you thought was going to be 30 minutes and is now going on 45 minutes with no end in sight. You can totally bring some of your own snacks into Disneyland. There are just a few rules you need to know. It should not be stored in a glass container. It should not require heating, reheating, processing, or refrigeration, and it should not have any pungent odors. We usually bring some Uncrustables and Z bars for our kids to have in the parks. These are great snacks that are easy to throw in the park bag and will stop that hunger induced tantrum before it even begins. We especially like to bring these as they're a great break from the kid food like mac and cheese, chicken tenders, and ice cream that they have definitely been shoveling down all day long. If you have a little one, I can almost guarantee that you're going to be bringing a stroller with you into the park. And while strollers are great for storing all that extra stuff, transporting your kid around, and maybe even getting them to take that blessed afternoon nap, they can be a real pain to manage while you're in the parks. First of all, what do you even do with your stroller while you're riding a ride or eating lunch? Well, Disney actually has stroller parking all over the park. These parking areas are usually located near ride entrances and exits, but you can park your stroller in any of these designated spots for as long as you need, not just while you're on the ride. The parking areas are well marked, but we wanted to call out a few of our favorite places to park the stroller. I know it might sound weird that we have a favorite place to park our stroller in Disneyland, but we do because being able to have easy access to your stroller throughout the day just makes life that little bit easier. And that's what we're all aiming for when navigating Disney with toddlers. In Fantasyland, there is a parking area along the gates of Dumbo. This is our preferred place to park in Fantasyland because it's easy to get in and out of. Don't be like everyone else. Don't follow the crowd and park your stroller in that zoo of a parking lot next to the carousel. That area is usually really, really crowded and it can be really tough to get out of. It is just, it's so crowded, and I would just avoid it if you can. In Frontierland and New Orleans Square, we really like parking our stroller in front of the Mark Twain Riverboat launch. This parking spot makes it really easy to jet off to your next destination after riding Big Thunder or Pirates of the Caribbean. In Tomorrowland, our favorite parking is right by Star Traders. It's normally shaded, and the crowds walking by that area tend to be easier to navigate. Also, make sure you're paying attention to the stroller parking signs. Throughout the park, you'll see little signs that say no stroller parking. Do not park your stroller here. While Disneyland won't throw your stroller in the trash, they will move it to the closest stroller parking area. So, to avoid the chaos of returning and having no idea where your stroller is, just make sure there's not a sign that says no stroller parking when you leave your stroller. Also, know that sometimes cast members may have to move your stroller within the parking area, and they do that just to make more room. So don't worry if you've parked your stroller in the designated parking area and it's not exactly where you left it. I am sure no one stole your stroller. It's usually in the same general area. I would recommend a stroller tag or tying a colorful ribbon onto your handle so you can more easily find your stroller in the sea of dozens and dozens of black strollers. You can also rent a stroller if you didn't bring one with you that day. The stroller kiosk is located right outside the gates to Disneyland, and you can rent one for $18 per day for a single stroller and $36 per day for a double stroller. You should also know that you can bring the same stroller in Disneyland and California Adventure. So, unlike Disney World, where you have to get a new stroller at every park you go to, at Disneyland and California Adventure, you use the same stroller all day long. So, it's a little bit more convenient. And one last note about strollers, watch out for those trolley tracks on Main Street. Stroller wheels get caught in those tracks all the time, and it's super frustrating when it happens. To avoid this, stay on the sides of the street while walking down Main Street instead of walking right down the middle. Okay, so picture this totally made up, definitely didn't happen to me scenario. The whole family is excited to get to Disneyland. Everyone has their best Disney gear on and they're charting out the most magical day ever. You're about to get to the front of the line to scan your ticket, make it in time for rope drop, when your 2 year old looks up at you with those adorable, beautiful eyes and says, I have to potty. Ugh, right? Or even worse, they have an accident causing your magical day to start on a rough note. Let's avoid all of this. Yes? Did you know there are bathrooms right outside the gates and near the tram stations in downtown Disney and at the Mickey and Friends parking structure? We always take a couple minutes right at the start of our park day to take the kids to the bathroom. We know that everyone is so excited to start their day, but taking care of business before you enter the parks avoids those big crowds at the first bathrooms inside the gates and can avoid a messy disaster first thing in the morning. This is actually a great segue into our next tip. You're going to want to bring some gallon sized Ziploc bags with you to the park. These bags serve endless functions, but I'm going to focus on two of them here. First of all, you can use them to put any clothes that might have gotten wet or covered in something sticky, like a melted Olaf fruit bar. Delicious, by the way. This will keep everything else in your bag from getting wet and sticky. Absolutely no fun for anybody. I also like to use the Ziploc bags to pack my diaper bag for the day. I put diapers in one Ziploc bag, shirts in another, shorts in one, etc., etc. It just really helps keep the bag from becoming a big pile of clothes and snacks when you're constantly rummaging through it throughout the day for things that you need. So now it's midday and your kid has been cooped up in their stroller or in a chair at a restaurant or on a ride all day. And while they're having a wonderful, magical time, they're also getting a little bit antsy, right? So, what are we going to do? We are going to take advantage of the play spaces in the parks. There are 3 spots that kids can just run around, get the willies out, and just, well, be kids. The first spot, and my personal favorite, is Tom Sawyer's Island at Disneyland. You take a raft across the river to get there, which my kids always love, and the island has tons of caves for the kids to explore. It's also just a great place to escape the crowds, which gives you and your kid a break from all of that overstimulation across the river. The second play area is located in Toontown. Now, Toontown can get a little bit crazy and it definitely doesn't have the relaxing vibe that Tom Sawyer Island has, but it is still a ton of fun for the kids. They have a few grass areas where kids can run around, a playground with a slide, and small rock climbing structures. And the kids can also go into Goofy's house and have balls fly all around them, or go into Donald's house and do a little splashing. And last but certainly not least is the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail over at California Adventure. This has always been my boy's favorite place to run around at the parks. Here, kids can explore a huge rope course, do rock climbing, tire swings, and go down some super fun slides. We like stopping by these play areas when the kids need some time to just be kids and run around a little bit. This has been our top tips for being in the parks with little kids. We hope you found this to be helpful. Next week, we're going to answer the question, is bringing a toddler to Disneyland worth it? Spoiler alert, the answer is yes. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.